It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
He's back. SKOR North Twins Show. Don't let Coach Trev get hot. He's been all over the dang place. He's been calling games, players-only broadcasts, color commentary, all-star weekend fiascos with the John Boy crew. So now he's back with us here on the SKOR North Twins Show, where, ironically enough, Trev, Royce Lewis is getting hot. But is it a little too late for saving their season, I guess? That's where we're at right now. Royce with a couple good games here after a pretty wild weekend. Not surprised Royce voiced some frustrations over just how the season is going, but last night I remember I think it was in the fourth inning when he stole at second base. You said, "I'm trying not to get too excited here, right? Like what are we seeing here from Royce? This was 2023 Royce Lewis. It's at least a positive sign that, hey, I know it's only 2 games, but maybe he is turning a corner here and becoming more the Royce Lewis of old."
Yeah, look, you don't want to get too excited over a couple games, but he's had a couple game stretch earlier in the season that just hasn't looked the same as this. As far as power at the plate, his swing looks great. He has. We were just trying to find a bunch of stuff on Royce, as he was struggling. And his max bat speed or his bat speed average has gone down since 2023. It was like 75.2. Now it's in the 73s. And a lot of that, you start to think, yeah, and he voiced this as well. Like, did some of the injuries zap whatever, that power, that fast twitch muscle, did that get zapped? And you start to think, like, what does that mean for him as a player? I would love to see his bat speed. I don't know if I can look that up. I don't know how to do it, but his bat speed over the last couple of days really seems like it's back. And I think it's because he's giving himself a little bit more time, but he looks great. Wallner's like starting to hit the ball too. And it's like, is it just 4 days too late?
Positive Trev, let's go.
If they sweep the series in Colorado, are we talking about a completely different thing here? Instead, they lose 2 out of 3. And now look, they have to. It's how many days to the trade deadline?
Is it 8 or 9?
8 or 9 days to the deadline. Do they have to go 8-0? Do they have to go 7-1?
Well, Falvey does have a track record a couple times, most notably back in 2017, I guess, of these games being really meaningful because it was around this time, like 9 days before, that they bought for Jaime Garcia back in 2019 or 17. And then they lost like 6 of 5 of 6 or 6 of 7. And then, so Garcia made 1 start and then they flipped him and now we're actually selling. So like there is some track record for these games mattering to what that front office might do on July 31st or before then.
I think it's any front office. I mean, you got to imagine in the American League, you have to win probably 84 to 85 games to get in the playoffs, which means you need to be, gosh, nice math here, like 4 games over 500. And they have some teams they have to jump. Like, if you get to 500 by the trade deadline, what do you do? Like, it's an interesting. This is when the front office. This is the time for them to make their money or, to really, show what they're made of. And, Rocco was asked about that. Dan Hayes asked him before the game, like, hey, like, is there more emphasis put on these games because we're approaching the deadline? And obviously, he's not going to like answer that directly. It's just not what he does. But anyone would be lying to you if they said, no, like, these games mean the same as other games. You are where you're at, and you got a chance now to either get to I don't even think of buyers. There's no buying here. It's a hold or a sell. So again, I think the Twins need to play exceptional baseball up until next Thursday to hold on to their pieces.
And does that get you there, though? Because, like, let's just say for the sake of this discussion that Royce stays hot. Buxton's great. That's awesome. But the reality is, you're banking, if you hold, you're banking on Pablo coming back in September and picking up exactly not like the ramp up is nil then. He just needs to come back and shove, which is difficult. So I also think you have to, if you're the Twins and Falvey in particular, Trev, I think you got to ask yourself, what's realistic here about if we make the playoffs, if we jump a bunch of teams, which is the hardest thing, and we get in, what can we do? Like, do we have enough? And I think this team has shown just so many flaws at various times that I think it would be fool's gold.
So you use the word realistic. I think you almost have to replace realistic with the most what's the most positive thing that could happen in the next month, in the next like week, and then going forward. So they, in addition to climbing over 6 teams to get to that third wild card spot, they would have to go. I math this out. The Red Sox are right now the Red Sox are the third wild card team, tied with the Mariners percentage points. But the Red Sox are on pace for 86 wins right now at their current 529 winning percentage. So let's say it's 86 wins. You'd have to go 38-24 to get to 86 wins, which, like, okay, that's not 38-24, good baseball team, get hot for a couple months. We've seen it before in Twins history. So that's the way you'd have to view this to stand pat to what Trevor just said. If Lewis stays hot, if Wallner stays hot, if Lopez comes back in September, and you don't sell off, can you go 38-24 in the last 2 months? And should you be basing your strategy on that pie in the sky, 90th percentile outcome?
I get what we all talk the same way. What can you do? Can you make the playoffs? If you get to the playoffs, are you going to be one of the favorites? No, they're not. Like, they're not going to be one of the favorites to win the World Series. And that's fine. But I think in sports, there are times where you have to do what's best for, like, not like the organization, but for the brand. Like, the Twins need to focus on their brand a little bit right now because it is losing out in Minnesota. And you don't up your brand recognition by trading pieces and just going away for the rest of the summer. Like, there are times I really feel like you owe it to the fan base, or like maybe you don't feel that you owe it to the fan base, but you want to give something so you get something back. Like, I honestly think it would be foolish for them to sell off pieces. And you could say, hey, like, they got Joe Ryan by selling Nelson Cruz, and you'd be correct. They got John Duran in a trade. Who was that? Like Eddie Escobar?
Escobar.
So, like, there's been some good trades. There's also been some bad trades. If you look around the league, it's more bad trades than good trades. You relying on prospects is, to me, never a good option. You might hit. They're lottery tickets is what they are. I think there are times in sports where, like, an ownership group, I know they're on their way out. They're trying to be on their way out, but, like, give it to the fans. Like, go for it. Even if you end up in still the 4th best team in the American League, like, I don't know, like, if you sell pieces off, who is going to be coming to the games at all? Who is going to be paying attention to this team? Like, nobody. Yeah, I just think there are times where business, even if it's not maybe quote unquote smart organizationally, like, I think there are some times where you got to give it and just give it a go. I don't know. I've been going back and forth about this, and a bunch of different teams are in this position. But as a fan, like, if they sell off pieces, I don't know if I'd tune in.
Trev, I think the problem, though, here right now is with the current climate and the Pohlads still being in charge. I don't know that this team, short of making just a huge run, which I don't see possible, can capture the imagination of the fan base like you're talking about. And that's
the problem. Win, they can.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. They would have to not just win, but, like, win a playoff series and then potentially another one. Like, this fan base right now is so disillusioned, and quite frankly, too, like, we can talk about this, but you lost 2 or 3 to the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you had a chance to close out Pittsburgh. Like, you beat Paul Skeens. You won that game. That's awesome. And on Sunday, you puke up that game. Like, there's just so many red flags, and I just don't know. I don't feel that there is that until the Pohlads are gone, that the fans are even going to consider coming back, short of a World Series or something.
If you're the Pohlads, if you're on your way out, what's to lose? Like, you don't really need to care about 5 years from now.
True.
Like, might as well give it a last go, right?
That is true.
And you could just step in and say, no, you're not trading anybody. Like, we want to give this a run. If I was a Polaz, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Yeah, and leave with, instead of your name being a name that's like a punchline and a name that fans scoff at, but I feel like their chance as a family to, because the way you put it was, I love the way you put it, which is give something to get something, as opposed to always just reacting to like the business. And to me, that fork in the road was 2 years ago when they did win the playoff series, and you had to make a decision on payroll and Sonny Gray, and it was like, this is the ultimate fork in the road for, do we make the right size, the business decision for like kind of the shortish term, or do we make the give more to the fan base for the long-term good of the brand and maybe the long-term good of the business? And they chose the path that they chose, and I think fans took notice and were like, okay, we see how things stand. So how much a lot would have to happen in the next 2 months. They would have to not sell. They would have to get super hot. Like, a lot would have to happen for people to not feel the way that they do about that ownership group. It's just the reality.
It's, you know what? And maybe I'm just the eternal optimist, but they're like not far off. Like, I really mean that. But okay.
Let's go.
If Royce, you have to have your guys be guys. So if Royce is really feeling good and Wallner starts to go and Carlos has had some really freaking nice swings as of late, and you have those guys doing it, and I'm going to say some stuff that maybe you won't agree with here, but like Fester looked good last night, and I think he like has a chance. And like even Zebby in Colorado, like 1 or 2 pitches, like you're getting Pablo back. Joe Ryan's been unbelievable. Like I think the starting pitching can be good enough. The bullpen's great, and if the offense can get going a little bit here, like we've seen it, like this has, like, they have the makings of a good team. I like this roster. But coming into the season, I thought they had the most complete roster in the AL Central. Their other teams had flaws. It has not worked out that way. We've had some real the struggling core offensive group. We've had some injuries to the rotation. But I don't know, man. I start to think about like the world in general. We can get real deep right here if you want. But
is this going to be like a Scotty Scheffler quote coming here?
There's just so many things trying to grab everyone's attention day in and day out. And if you let go at all, you're gone. Like, you're into the abyss. There's something else is coming, and they're going to watch that, and they're going to consume that, and they're going to take that product. You have to stay relevant 24/7 nowadays, or you start to lose, and it starts to compound. So like, there are times, man, especially right now with the Twins, that I just feel like selling would be a massive mistake. And I don't say you don't got to go buy. And if you wanted to trade Danny Coulomb, like I think I'd be okay with that. Like, you know, I like him a lot. He's super fun to talk to. He's had a great year. I don't think the fan base would be too pissed at that. If you go out and sell Griffin Jacks or Joan Duran, I think that's a completely different story. So, like, I think it would be really, really bad for them to sell off right now. For the brand.
I think they're in a lose scenario with their fan base until the owners are gone. So, like Trev says, don't trade. Push ahead and just stay the course. You get hot. The ifs of your core pieces hitting now, and that's going to be all good. But I think there's also a large portion of the fan base that sees Bader, sees Coulomb.
I'd be okay with both those guys because they're not like they're not homegrown, and you know they're here for 1 year. Like, I think the fan base, that's fine, but the other guys, there's too much of a connection there, and there's more an association of those guys are our best players, and that's different.
Yeah, I think you listen and you do sell your rentals, which I think that's probably what's going to happen in terms of like moving Duran, Jax, and Joe Ryan, which I don't think they'll really come close to doing by the deadline at least. You'd have to be blown away, and honestly, I would entertain those deals. I would entertain those deals. I think you've seen, you know, if let's say you just traded Jax, like Louis Varland has stepped up big time this year. They have figured out ways to develop bullpen arms, so like it's not a complete uphill battle next season.
What are you going to get back? You're going to get some prospects, man. And I'm so I don't know. When is that going to help the team?
The reality is like a Coulomb trade. This is where I align with you. These rental players, even Bader, who's having his best year in 4 years, you're not getting anything that moves the needle for your franchise. So you're not. So like, what's the upside? Well, maybe you get like another chip or two that you could throw in another trade down the road when you're ready to buy again, and I get that. But it's like it's a marginal difference for the on-field product. The real needle mover is if you were to sell, would be Joe Ryan, would be Duran, would be Jax, like your dudes. Buxton has already come out and said, I got a no trade clause. Consider it exercised here at the All-Star break, right?
Love that, by the way.
So that he wants to be a Twin for life. But just like to go back on the other side, you brought up Wallner and Royce Lewis, and this to me is a deeper discussion about why are two 27-year-old former top draft picks in the middle of their projected prime struggling so much around, career plate appearances, 1,000 and whatever. Like, why are they nosediving in the middle of the prime of their career? So that's an organizational existential question. But then if you believe that they're coming out of that nosedive and they're going to be potentially awesome for the next 2 or 3 months, well, wouldn't you then buy? Like, wouldn't you double down on, okay, if these guys are going to be really good for 2 months, then we are going to win more games. Therefore, if we're projecting where this thing might be headed in mid-September, then you could talk yourself into buying. But they're not, I don't think organizationally they're confident in Wallner and Royce Lewis being those guys the next 2 months.
But we also have no direction here. Like, that's the thing is it ends with Falvey. So like, what is, like, ideally here's my thing. If I'm the poll edge, you know what? My name is not good in this town. I want my name to be, hey, these guys did some good things beyond now Grandpa Carl. So I would sign Joe Ryan to an extension. Make that your parting gift.
Give them all extensions on your way out. Yeah.
Yeah, give him a 5-year. You know what, Joe Ryan? I mean, the guy's been phenomenal. Give him an extension. Like, that's the thing is, but like, I think, and the frustration lies, like, we're having a conversation that 9 days out of the deadline is very appropriate, but we got no clue, and we don't know how much the front office has a clue because they don't know who's going to run the team. Like if a moneybags guy or gal comes in and it's like, you know what, enough of this crap. Let's win some baseball games. We can make it up. I love the Twins. Well, then Joe Ryan extended. At this point in time, I think Royce. I mean, you could probably get Royce on a pretty good extension right now.
Yeah. He's got to want to sign that contract too.
Well, but
let me tell you something right now. After going to the last year of struggles, he'd sign on the dotted line.
You think so?
Oh,
well,
my gosh.
And I could also tell Royce, if I'm going to own the team, that there will be significant changes made.
And like the psyche of that is going from the top where he was down to the bottom where he was. I mean, you got to say, okay, like let's truly consider. And Dex, you are being the most logical person here, which thank God you're here. Like I understand where you're coming from, and it makes sense, and you want to bring these prospects in, but I feel like the Twins already have a pretty damn good farm system. So like,
yeah,
it's not like it's a barren cupboard that we need to stock. Like, it's already a good farm system. So I don't know. I think a lot in my brand these days, and maybe I'm just a sellout loser, but
your brand's
important. I think it's important. Like, it's where I wouldn't say this about some other organizations, but right now the brand of the Twins is, I think, struggling.
How would you?
And I don't think it should be. I think it's you have a lot of things working for you if you're the Twins, but just I don't know, decisions here and there, and I think selling off right now would be almost like the nail in the coffin for some people. They wouldn't tune in. It would just be gone.
On that brand front, so you're part of John Boy, and you behind the scenes have poured in way more even maybe than on the microphone, and just like you're all in. You're a part owner of that company, and I had a chance like 3 months ago with your CEO Courtney Hirsch. We were on a panel together in Chicago, and I remember I asked her, how would you describe the John Boy brand to someone who's never listened or consumed your content? And like, she didn't have to think about it because you guys have put so much work into what your brand is. She said light in substance, or light in tone, deep in substance. So you can go deep on anything, but it's ultimately fun and games at the end of the day, right? Like that. How would you, as a hashtag brand guy, Coach Trev, what should that, if it's new ownership coming in here, what do you want the Twins elevator pitch brand to be? Like this is what if you go and watch a Twins game, this is what you're gonna see.
You're putting me on the spot here, big time.
Sorry about that.
I think you have to still make it about the baseball team, the product on the field. I think you have to talk about, you want to be a place. This is what I think. Okay, let's just strip it down a little bit. I think you want to be known as the smartest organization in the sport. I think that's where you start, because it's been proven over the last decade that like the smart, quote unquote, smart organizations, the Brewers, and the Dodgers, who are also on a different level payroll wise, but the things that they do, the Twins need to do, which is take care of their minor leaguers. They really have to get into advanced scouting that you can't miss on the draft like the Twins have. So it's got to be, we want to be the place where smart baseball people want to work. And we're going to double down on our minor league coaches. We're going to treat our minor leaguers exceptionally well because we're going to develop players. So I want to be known as the organization that develops homegrown talent and drafts and trades well. I want to be known as the smartest organization. And then I can also pitch to my fans. We got one of the nicest ballparks in all of the country. And there's a lot of things I want to do to the ballpark. Like just like as I've been traveling around and kind of looking around, like what Colorado has done in their right field bleachers, they've like taken them all out and they built this area. You know what they do? It's $15 to get in. With that ticket, you get a beer, and it's like $3 beers until game time. Talking to my guy, Jake, who used to live in Denver, he's like, people would come. You go to the Rockies game to like pregame your night out. Like that was like your first stop. You just go there, you hang out, and then you go. Like you have to make it a place people want to come. So I want to be smartest organization, and I want to have the best game day experience possible, and I want to make it affordable. Like there are just things that you can do that would take this brand from. I mean, there's a lot of really, really good things that the Twins have, and they just need to push a couple buttons here and there.
That's why
you're hired, by the way. Trevor's hired.
There it is.
That was a good pitch.
And I know I don't mean like continue to open up a new can of worms, but then doesn't that come down to the Twins don't have the right people employed to do all those things? They haven't drafted well. Their coaching staff has not developed the hitters that should be taking the next step. Their advanced scouting is not like. Then I think that comes down to do you have the right people in charge? Because what's wild is since 2021, okay, the Twins have their bones of this team has kind of been together, and maybe you can lean in 2022. The Chicago White Sox are terrible. They're awful. They're going to be bad for a foreseeable future. They have won this division the same amount of times as the Twins have in the last 5 years. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That makes no sense. That shouldn't be the case. So that's where, like, do you have the right people in charge? And I think that's also something they have to look at and recognize in the mirror here pretty soon, too.
Yeah, no, I don't want to shots fired. I think you could be right. I also think it's more people. Like if you go around the league, there's more people in the analytical front office. There's more people. There's more coaches. Like player to coach ratio is different for the Dodgers and other organizations. Like you really have to make an investment in the minor leagues, and all that means. And I've said this before. Like, be the top paying organization for coaches. Like you guess what? Those minor league coaches, they will come to you, the good ones, if you pay more. Like that's what they want. So like how much extra would that cost you over the entire organization per year? You might throw another $2 or $3 million into your coaches' salaries, and it would change everything. Even if it was $5 million, it would change everything. That is the secret sauce of the Dodgers, is they have, excuse my language, a shitload of people working with their players.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like when you want to send your kid, hey, my awesome private school, there's 15 students to one teacher or 10 students to one teacher. And then, the other school's got 30 kids to one teacher. It's like, okay, if you've ever like coached a team or if you're a teacher, you understand how hard it is to wrangle 30 people as opposed to 10. Like there needs to be that. That's the first thing that I would do. 100%. I'd hire more because that's what the good teams do. It's like, I mean, it's why the Players Association always loses against Major League Baseball. They have 5 lawyers or the Players Association has 5 lawyers and the MLB has 100. It's like,
MLB has like all the lawyers of all the billionaire owners that can be consulted to it.
You got to hire more people, and then you got to offer higher salaries to get the better people. Like it's, and then you start to see homegrown talent getting churned out, and that is the key in today's game. Speaking of making good decisions, Judd, Stoke barbecue pellets. Come on, get all your cupboards filled with some Stoke barbecue pellets.
Absolutely. Good decisions. In fact, I know that Plouffe loves to barbecue, and that's why I want to tell him right now about Stoke, a company based and operated right here in our fine state. Stoke barbecue pellets include the barbecue caddy as well. If you are a grill master, the barbecue caddy is an absolute must. Stoke solid oak firewood, perfect for your pizza ovens, solo stoves, and tabletop fireplace as well. You can find Stoke products at Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores or check out their website, stokebbq.com, for their deal locator. But again, check out Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores to stock up on Stoked barbecue pellets.
All right,
Judd, are you going to Vikings camp?
I got to go to Vikings camp.
Okay.
Trev, good luck these last 2 games.
Thank you.
Hang in there.
You're going to win, Twins.
Hang in there. Get Royce to steal more bases. I love it. All right. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Dudley.
Right. Judd's camp notes coming in hot to Purple Daily starting tomorrow.
We'll keep it here for just a couple more minutes with our guy, Coach Trev. Trev, I will say, and if Royce takes off, great. Wallner maybe figures things out. I'm also super curious once Luke Keshaw comes back, which I think will probably be by like the homestand. At some point, he needs a lengthy rehab assignment. He's in 4 games now with the Saints. There are like some intriguing things here in Keshaw, and you brought up Zebby and Festa. Like they're starting to put things together, and I do agree. Like they are not the White Sox, they are not the Rockies, they're not at the barren of looking up at a 5-year rebuild. There are things here which are tantalizing, which is frustrating because they should be one of the better teams in baseball, and they're not. But I do think there's some optimistic things that even if you're a Twins fan or you're a Minnesota sports fan beyond this trade deadline, that you can say, wait, this is actually going to be exciting, and I'm curious to see how this person develops and sticks around with the team.
Agreed. I mean, I've been saying that. I like the roster. I like the organizational depth. But you got to do it on the field. Like it's all just noise until you do it on the field. And I get crushed every time I say that about the Twins on social media. Like, no, they stink. I'm like, okay, well, like they shouldn't stink. They should be a better team than they have not played up to expectations.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. I'm curious. Yeah. What happens? Like, what's the move? Like who starts in the infield when Keshaw comes back? I'm assuming you bring him back, he's going to start. And does that mean Brooks Lee's out?
He might be.
Well, yeah, he might be. A tune-up might be in order.
He needs some mechanical help with his swing. He does. I still truly believe in him because I think he has the right mentality to make adjustments and want to be a good player. And that's half the battle is being coachable and understanding you have to make adjustments. And I think he'll be able to do it. He has the skills to do that. And like I said, the mindset. So yeah, it's there's a lot of talent at the AAA major league level that they have to sort through. And, it's going to be, they're going to have to make some decisions that are going to be tough. And I don't know, man, I'm not super optimistic on this year. I don't want everyone to think that I just think they're going to run off and make it to the World Series. No, you see what's going on. But to me, it just doesn't. Yeah, even if you get a huge haul for a Jax or if they trade Joe Ryan, I'm out. I won't even call my last series. I'm out. I can't.
Ghosting him.
So I hope they don't do that. That'd be insane. But again, I just don't think they need to trade this year at the deadline. Those guys can go in the off season if they really want to do that, or next deadline. I don't think this is the year to do it. We've just lost so many I mean, I get it all the time on social media, man. Like, don't watch the Twins. Don't watch the Twins. It's not good.
Yeah. Because especially when you're doing the broadcasts and you're tweeting about the Twins, what is like the ratio? What is some of the stuff you hear? We kind of, we see it, YouTube comments, whatever. And there is still a really passionate ride or die group that just wants it to be better. But, anecdotally, what do you see from fans?
Most of the time I get the diehards, and they're like, they're still in it. They, I'll watch no matter what. And that's great. Like, you have those people. So you need to like also placate to them as well. You want to make sure that, they're feeling good about that decision. But yeah, a lot of times it's like, what? And I don't even like tweet much anymore because it's really not a great place. Like,
it's
hard.
pretty dark.
You can't please everybody, and I get not only the Twins fan base, I get Mets, Blue Jays, Mariners, Yankees fans. It becomes crazy. Everyone thinks I root for their rival. Like, nobody thinks I root for their team. It's always their rival. I'm like, I don't root for any team except for the Twins. That's the truth. But yeah, I mean, the sentiment around social media, and take it with a grain of salt, I guess, but like, it's not good.
Yeah. By the way, not that, you're a pretty self-confident guy, so you don't need me pumping your tires here, but I just want to say I've been watching Twins broadcasts consciously since like the early to mid 1990s. The old Midwest Sports Channel, Dick Bramer was a part of all these different iterations. The players only stuff that you guys, a couple weeks ago, Terry Ryan in the booth shredding you guys with your scouting reports. That was legitimately some of the best Twins TV across any different era of Twins baseball. You guys killed it. It was super entertaining. What all went into that? Did you guys there was a new kind of play-by-play guy every night or every day, but like what's the backstory behind that?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I was honestly very skeptical because nobody knows how to it's really hard to get in and out of breaks, and you want to make sure you're not ruining guys' highlights. A guy hits a homer, makes a great play, and we're joking around. I wouldn't like that if I was a player. So I was trying to be conscious of that. I think a lot of and we've gotten great feedback, which is cool. And, I just try to do the best I can. A lot of that was set up by Trevor Plouffe, who, lead producer of our shows. Like, he came up with a lot of good stuff. Rick Palermo, like they basically set all of that up, like got Terry, a bunch of guys came through the booth as well. Pablo there. And then we brainstormed some ideas between the three of us, Glenn and Justin and I. And I don't know, I had a great time. I thought the interesting part of it was I feel like it was great for Twins fans, but then we ended up getting picked up on MLB Network. And we were like, broadcast nationally. Then ESPN had a live look in for a while. So I'm like, how did that audience deal with it? That for Twins, sure, the nostalgia with Terry Ryan there, and you're talking to Morney, we have Pablo up. That's great for Twins fans. Very specific though to Twins fans, and then I'm getting picked up, like I said, on MLB Network. So it was interesting, but we had a great time. And I tell Corey this all the time. I said, I didn't even want to do it. I like working with Corey, and I love those other guys as well. But I feel like that's the way I want to watch baseball. But he's so cool, man. Talk about confident. Corey's yeah, that was awesome. You guys do that every year. It's so cool. He knows he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
And he knows he's going to be fine. We're not trying to take his job or anything. It's just for a series every year, I think we can do it. And yeah, we had a good time, man. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So baby steps for now. So just a series a year, you wouldn't want to do probably more.
I wouldn't want to do it more
than
than that. I don't think it's the rarity or the scarcity of it, makes it a little bit more appealing than if it was all the time. I don't think you'll want to watch that all the time.
And you can plan the fun stuff like Danny Coulomb watching film of Glenn Perkins or whatever. If it's all the time, you don't get to put together the special little features and stuff.
Morney going through the showing the amenities and the batting cage and all that. I thought for fans, I think that was really cool because you just don't get to see that often.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know, it's just certain stuff like that I know appeals to fans, and they did a good job putting everything together.
We'll love it, man. And you're on the call to wrap up this Dodgers series, and then you're pending if Joe Ryan gets traded or not.
Then you might just be done. Yeah.
This is a true story. In Colorado, facing Anthony Sensatella, statistically probably the worst starting pitcher in the big leagues right now. And we have Ryan Spilbros, who does stuff with the Rockies. Him and his counterpart come in. He's talking to Corey and I, and they're like, "You guys are gonna crush it. Like, if he makes it into the third inning, we'll be shocked. Like, you guys, it's time. You guys are about to win 20-0, something like that." And then I'm like, "Hey, like, this is baseball, dude. Like, and you saying that, like, he's gonna go 6 shutty, and they're like, if he's pitching into the 6th inning, we'll retire on the spot."
Oh,
he went 7. He went 7, and the next day I looked for those guys, couldn't find them. I said, maybe they did retire.
They're done, actually.
Maybe
yeah.
maybe they're men of their word. I don't know, man, but it was really funny. That's just how baseball works. So I don't think I'll actually retire. My wife would be like, wait, no.
Wait a second. What are we doing here?
Go to
some more
work.
vacations.
Go to
We still
work.
need a plan. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, Trev, appreciate you, man. You can find him on Talking Baseball. You can find him on the Twins telecast this series. He's all over the place. So appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. This is the SKOR North Twins Show. We'll talk next week, too, here. Be talking at you then.
Baseball.